Well, as we come together to celebrate this day. And part of that celebration is to look at who we are and how we got here. Unity Village Chapel became the official name for our spiritual community in 1954. Prior to that, it went by a couple of other names, but this spiritual community has been together, been a factor on planet Earth for a long time. Some of you have been here for a long time. In fact, I've had conversations with some of the people here. You were here even before this building was built. Any of you here that were here before this building was built? I know there were a few of you. Yeah. So you know that we've had a number of ministers that have blessed this community over the years. Going back to when we became Unity Village Chapel, we've had Ralph Ray, Sig Paulson, Frank and Martha Judici, Chris Chenoweth, Sharon Connors, Rob Robinson. We've had interim ministers such as Harriet Valier and Albert Wingate. And so in spiritual truth, we know that each one of them was here in their right and perfect time to guide this chapel to a new level of growth and sense of purpose. So as we reflect on our past, as a spiritual community, we open our hearts, our minds to a sense of gratitude. And in Unity, we teach that an attitude of gratitude is a key component in spiritual unfoldment, not only in ourselves, but as a spiritual community. And when you enter into that consciousness of gratitude, think of the ways that it blesses you. First of all, it lets us release any inharmonious feelings. And it acts as a magnet to draw to us increased blessings. Charles Fillmore always added gratitude as a factor in any of his prosperity teachings. And so we today open our hearts in gratitude. Today, in celebration of a milestone, 5 amazing years with Rev Erin. Yeah, they have been amazing. And so we all honor our past, and we honor our co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, for leaving us the legacy of these life-enhancing teachings. We give thanks for those who have been our spiritual teachers of the past. Think about those people who have either been a teacher or modeled what it's like to live a spiritual life. Think about all the people who have helped us to become who we are as individuals and as a spiritual community. So, as we think about our past, we also want to give thanks to Erin for her leadership and her vision, moving us into a whole new era. And when you came in, you were given a sheet of paper, a slip of paper, on which to write a blessing or a gratitude to Rev Erin, to let her know how she's touched your life, to let her know what you're grateful for. And we have our Diane Wilkes was the board president at the time Rev Erin came to us, and you see that she's holding this magnificent box. This box will be next to the side door, the door going out toward the bookstore as you leave. And so if you will write your blessing or your gratitude, you can drop it off in that box as you leave. But this box has special significance in our spiritual community. Some of you were here when we as a community were opening ourselves to new leadership. And as you might imagine, here at Unity Village Chapel, we received quite a number of applications. And they were all placed in this box under lock and key until the whole process could be thoroughly investigated. I think it's of special significance today that at the end of this service, the only name that will remain in this box is Rev Erin McCabe. So, Diane, come back for just a minute. We want to bless this box, but we also want to bless Rev Erin. So I invite you for a moment, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes, but if not, just breathe into your heart space. And as you breathe into your heart space and allow it to open, just send her that blessing of love, that blessing of appreciation that has touched you personally. And Erin, as a community, we thank you for your vision, for your leadership, for your compassion, and for your commitment to each one of us. And then if you will join me in the unity blessing, Reverend Erin, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you together. Reverend Erin, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. And we will have Drayton Riley, who is our current board president and also was part of the selection process. And thank you, Diane, for your leadership through this process, too. I think you should stay here. I think you should stay here.
You might want to move, Erin. No, it's too late now. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk today and acknowledge Erin for her 5-year anniversary. I made a problem for myself this morning. I was going to type my notes up last night, but I put it off, and I was tired, and I said, well, it'll come to me in the morning, so I sat down this morning early, and I did them. I was pleased, and I came upstairs, and I folded them up and put them in this library book that I was going to put in the Dropbox. You can't get something out of that Dropbox after you put it in there, so, and then I woke up.
I had nightmares last night.
So the prospect of hiring a new minister back in 2011 was exciting. It was a new beginning. I served as co-chair of the search committee. There were many applications, which we were very proud of. There were options and choices. There were some applicants who were very high profile. So it took something special for an application from a relatively young minister serving the modest-sized congregation in New Jersey to be a serious consideration. She almost wasn't. The box was on our table when we met week after week, and before the deadline, we just kept having a report from Carl Lewis about how many applications had arrived, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And then the day came, and it was time to open the box and look at the applications. We had a vetting process, we had qualifications, and everything had to be, all the applications to be considered had to be in good order, which included that they were there on time. So we looked at the applications, we looked at the envelopes, and the postmark on one of them was late. And Carl, being Carl, and many of you know Carl, took the envelope and tossed it on the floor and said, "That one's out, past the deadline." I said, "Who was it?" And he picked it up and he said, "Erin McCabe from New Jersey." And he said, "But deadlines are deadlines." So, well, as it happened, that she actually had it on time to Unity Worldwide Ministries. They just hadn't gotten it to us on time. So it went back furtively and carefully into the pile. So what did we see in Erin McCabe that had that application rise to the top of that stack? It wasn't vast experience in ministry or a long, flashy resume that many of the applications had. Counterintuitively, it may have been because she did not. Our sense was that we did not want our ministry to become someone's crowning achievement, or someone's icing on their cake, or someone's swan song as they rode their ministry stallion off into the sunset. What we wanted was for Unity Village Chapel to become someone's sense of purpose. We saw in Reverend Erin someone who would bring a youthful vitality to an aging spiritual community that needed to re-energize and to locate its great future and to stop living in its nostalgic past. Erin McCabe came to us not as a minister who had been there done that. Someone who would not come here to tell us what to do, but would come here knowing that there was a great deal to do and would hit the ground running. She came to us as someone who has a lifetime intention ahead of her to blossom into a great minister, someone who has given her life over to a cause greater than herself. Someone who was touched, moved, and inspired by a priest saying Mass on Sunday and who told her mother she wanted to be a priest. Someone who found unity in Boulder, Colorado and found her spiritual anchor. And someone who then rediscovered, I suspect, that living life born of a child's dream is a life worth living. We are, as a congregation, 5 years older today, and at the same time, we are 5 years younger. We're less static and more pliable. We're less certain and more open. Less comfortable in our chairs and getting more comfortable with being uncomfortable. So why did we hire Erin McCabe? Had we made another choice 5 years ago, we could be sitting here today celebrating someone's retirement. Instead, we're celebrating our future. God bless you, Erin.
Thanks, Drayton. And thank you, Patricia, for picking my application up off the floor.
So I'm Gregory Stahr. I'm your summer intern. This is my last Sunday with you. It's so wonderful and beautiful I get to be here, to be present for the celebration. But I just wanted to, I know you know who you are deeply, but I want to remind you of what you bring in a collective consciousness, what you've been bringing and what that looks like a little bit. About 11 weeks ago, I made an appointment with Rev Erin to talk about being your summer intern. And I was just, you know how you just know things deeply? I remembered sitting there going, whoa, I can't wait. You were so kind and so open. And she moves fast, she thinks fast, her spirit is mighty. And I was like, yes. That's where I want to learn. Thank you, Erin, for saying yes. She put me to work right away. Can you imagine? I got to move. So next thing I knew it, I was doing the summer series, which taught me how to bring a summer series. She put me to work in Wednesday night meditations. And honestly, I needed to learn that. And I loved every minute of it. Before I knew it, I was coming to the team meetings, the Village Chapel team meetings, and I can say honestly that Joni, put your hands together for her. She is amazing. There was a moment while I was learning here that I ran into a little bit of a growth snag in pastorally being present for some of our loved ones. And Rev Marianne, she stepped forward and she guided me through it. Thank you, Marianne. I had the blessed opportunity of working with Rev Jacquie Lenati in learning how to put together a prosperity class for 6 weeks. And I have to tell you, the next time she teaches a class, you got to be there. It was amazing. You have been amazing. Thank you so much, Reverend. I know he just spoke, but I want you to put your hands together one more time. Your board, the board, are there quite a few of you here? If you are, stand up for us. I want to see all the board members. Drayton, come on, stand up. This board works tirelessly under the helm of Drayton, and they are amazing. Thank you so much. I got to spend time with the mighty men of unity. Are there men of unity here? Could you stand up for us? The men of unity in the house. Stand up. Thank you so much, men. I got to be present with these men in beautification projects and barbecues, and I got to spend time with them. They're a blessing to this church. And then I got invited to the Sisters of Myrtle. Are there any of those beautiful women? Cece, you're the president. Get your women to stand up. The Sisters of Myrtle bring their love and grace, and I didn't want to leave that meeting. It was so powerful. Thank you for having me. And then backpacks. Jody, are you here? Jody's Social Action Committee, if anybody's here from that committee, stand up right now. 60 kids got brand new backpacks. They got school supplies. They got loved by Unity Village Chapel. And then, I know you guys don't know this, but I really love the music ministry. Joe, Todd, Steve, everybody, Stephanie, Nikki, your music ministry has taught me and brought back out of me my love of song in church. Because for the last 2 years, I've been a student, writing papers and all of the rest. But thank you all so much. You are such a blessing to this community. Okay, Jacob, where are you, brother? Come on down here for a moment. He's going off script. Uh-oh. So, Erin, I had Michael Nagy, one of our leaders of Silent Unity, handcraft this for you. And Jacob, by the way, this young man blesses this church every Sunday, and his team of ushers and greeters and... Thank you, Jacob. I asked Jacob because I was up here, but all of your ministries have prayed over this. And so I asked Jacob to help me celebrate who you are. Because you see, I am an intern. And I arrived here, and first your leader opened up, then the ministerial team embraced me, and then all of those things I've just listed, that happened in 10 weeks. That's you. Thank you all so much. I can't tell you, I will take you with me in my heart forever. And Erin, as people came in today, we blessed this. We infused it with love and gratitude. We infused it with strength and courage. Thank you so much for having me.
And so I'm Rev Jacquie, and I'm your Minister of Communications, the newest staff member. And I will say that I started here as well as a ministerial intern, and it was during that time that we visioned this position. And if you back that up even more, I was over here in the education building in one of my first SEE classes with Leslie Miller. And she squealed in the middle of class, looking at her phone because her minister, Rev Erin McCabe, got picked to be the next minister at Unity Village Chapel. And I had no idea who this Erin McCabe was, but Leslie was so excited, and she let us all know how amazing you are. And so the excitement in my heart began. And then when I began my process of applying for school, we met in the Rose Garden. And you said, "Are you one of the new admission students?" And I said, "Yes, I'm Jackie." And she just, in the way that only you can, spewed out a holiness, this just barrage of prayer. And her hands were out and her words were out, and I walked away a different person. And I completed my process with a different strength from that moment. And I'm saying this not to just share my own personal experience, because I am one voice of many in this sanctuary, many online, and many across the country who could say the very same words to you. That we have been changed by your prayer presence. We have been changed by the person of you, by Spirit through you. And so I'm going to invite everyone to stand, and you too. And I'd like Marianne to come back up here. Because there is something to be said in identity and owning our identity as Unity Village Chapel. And so I would like us all to speak the name together. Unity Village Chapel together. Unity Village Chapel. And I would like you to speak your own identity, your name. Speak your name, Jackie. You don't say Jackie. Let's say it again. Your own name, Jackie. Because there is power in our words. And as we heard Erin say in the interview that she gave just a few months after she started, consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. It all comes down to consciousness. And that is the root of our identity. That is the heart of what we own as a spiritual community, as a flagship church of the Unity movement. And as you have taken us there, you have taken us there. That is because the hearts in this room were open and willing to go there with you. And so to the next 5 to 10 years, to the next 20 years, we speak again, Unity Village Chapel together. Unity Village Chapel, that is our identity, and the energy that is made manifest in that name is possible through each and every one of us. Those of you who weren't here when Erin arrived, you were already being prayed into this space. And so we open up and we look at the empty seats, and we know that there are people who are already being prayed into this space. We welcome them into our hearts right now in this moment, knowing that they will physically show up in the right time. We open our hearts to our live streamers who are increasing week by week, and to the ways that we will bind together as a community more deeply. We give thanks. We give thanks to the leadership, to the heart, to the consciousness, to the vision of Rev Erin McCabe. We give thanks for the presence of the Unity movement in the world, for the transformation made possible in the teachings. And we give thanks for one another, for showing up every week, every day, for every event, for every activity, with hearts and minds wide open. And so be it that we move together in gratitude, in grace, and in joy. Amen.